My name is Susan Ehrlich, and I am the head of HR for Shaman Design and Construction, and I have been here for 13 years. Well, we work in an industry that is not necessarily, by the nature of it, the most diverse. And we've always been a company that has wanted to get the best thinking, the best problem solving, and what we recognized is that we needed a lot of different ways of thinking about things and lots of different perspectives. And so we wanted some help in figuring out how to attract different kinds of talent and also engage different kinds of talent. I think the most remarkable thing that happened was that we acquired a language with which to talk about things that most people are afraid to say anything about. And there's a language that I think we started to work with Visions probably over 10 years ago. And today we still have that language. So it gave us a way to talk about things that were kind of unspeakable or people were afraid to talk about. You know, we sit in senior management team meetings and we still use the language both and. And we talk about dysfunctional rescuing. And we talk about blaming the victim. And so there's a way we can talk about things that are scary to talk about, and they're okay. It's kind of what happens, and we're able to solve the right problems and address the right things. We all know that we have our biases, and Visions help make it safe to have natural, maybe not natural, but we were raised a certain way. We were in environments that led us to hold what we hold. And that just is. And if we beat ourselves up about it, then we're not going to be able to be open about it and acknowledge it and be okay with ourselves. You know, if we're so busy beating ourselves up, we may go into denial, right? And so, you know, I have senior managers coming to me saying, I know I have my biases, and this, you know, it transcends race and gender. You know, I'll have an operations manager come to me and say, I know I have biases about support functions. I know that I do. You know I know I don't value them the way that I do operations. And then he'll say something, and we'll be able to say, well, so let's see what's the grain of truth in your concern, and then what's getting in your way because of your bias, and let's decide what we need to do from there. You can't have a conversation like that unless you have language and you have people understanding that they are who they are, and it just is what it is, and you don't judge yourself. You recognize it, and you move from there. It's very powerful on many, many different levels of diversity and inclusion. Yeah, I mean, I think how while we had all the language and all these great ways of thinking about things, it's very easy to slip into the way you usually think and rationalize it and not think you're going back into those not so helpful places. And so when we had particularly challenging situations, it was really great just to have folks from Visions come back in and help us really facilitate the thinking, facilitate the solution, facilitate the understanding of the problem, and make sure that we were really using all of the tools to figure it out ourselves. So we're in the middle of a systems implementation, and it's very stressful, as they always are. We're very close to going live, and there's a few things that are not going as we would like them to go. Ultimately, we'll all be okay, absolutely. But what's happening now is some of the finger pointing is starting. And so because of the tools that I have from Visions, I'm able to step back and say, okay, what are people doing right? What's all the good stuff? And what is it that the system is doing to get in people's way so that they're not performing the way that we think we'd like them to? And is it really them, or is it the system? And so just stepping back and not, you know, blaming and shaming. So I think this whole blaming and shaming notion has been very helpful, very powerful, and really lasting here at Shaman.